I was 17 years old, standing in a hallway, holding a letter that told me I wasn't good enough. And the only person who ever told me otherwise is the reason I'm standing here today. This is the story of the one sentence that changed the entire direction of my life, and if you stay until the end, I promise you'll never forget it. Because somewhere in this story is a piece of your own. Before we go there, if stories like this move you, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is built for people who still believe words can change a life. Drop a comment and tell me the name of the person who believed in you. And if this story hits you the way I think it will, share it with them. They deserve to know. Alright, let's go back. It was autumn. The kind of autumn where the light turns gold at 4 in the afternoon, and everything smells like rain on old concrete. I was in my last year of high school, and on paper, I was nothing special. Average grades. No sports team wanted me. No club remembered my name. I used to sit in the back row of every classroom, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't think anyone would notice if I sat in the front either. There was one teacher. Older woman, gray cardigan, always drinking tea from a chipped blue mug. She taught literature, and she had this habit of looking at you like she was reading a book you hadn't written yet. One day she kept me after class. My stomach dropped because in my experience, being kept after class meant bad news. She slid a piece of paper across the desk. It was an essay I had written, one I almost didn't turn in, because I was sure it was garbage. She looked at me and said one sentence I will never forget as long as I live. You write like someone who has something to say. Most people never find that. You already have it. I laughed it off. I told her she was just being nice. But she didn't smile back. She just said, I don't waste nice on people who don't deserve it. Here's the thing about being told you're capable of something: the world doesn't always agree with the people who believe in you. A few months later, I applied for a scholarship program. A writing scholarship. The kind that could actually change my future, pay for school, open doors I didn't even know existed. I didn't get in. The rejection letter was polite. Cold. Efficient. We received an overwhelming number of talented applicants. You know the type. The kind of sentence designed to make failure feel professional instead of personal. I remember standing in that hallway, letter in hand, feeling like every ounce of belief I'd built over the past few months had just been erased in 4 paragraphs of formal language. I decided I was done. Done writing. Done trying. Done believing her sentence meant anything at all. I didn't go back to class the next day. I skipped it. I sat outside instead, staring at nothing, convincing myself that maybe I really was just average. Maybe that's all I would ever be. 3 days later, she found me at my locker. She didn't ask why I skipped class. She didn't lecture me. She just handed me a folded piece of paper and walked away without a word. I almost didn't open it. Some part of me was afraid of what it would say, afraid it would be more encouragement. I didn't believe I deserved any more. But I opened it. It wasn't a pep talk. It was a list. A list of famous writers, real ones, names I recognized, and next to each name, a number. The number of times they had been rejected before their work was ever accepted anywhere. 12. 23. 30. One name had over 100 rejections before their first yes. At the bottom of the page, in her handwriting, it said, "Rejection is not a verdict. It's a filter. It's not asking if you're good enough. It's asking if you'll still be standing when the right door finally opens." I already know the answer. Do you? I sat in that hallway for a long time with that paper in my hands. Something shifted in me that day. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly, the way real change usually happens. I picked writing back up. Not because I suddenly believed in myself completely, but because someone else's belief was strong enough to carry me until mine caught up. Years passed. I won't pretend the road was easy after that, it wasn't. There were more rejections. More silence. More nights where I questioned if that hallway conversation meant anything at all. But I kept writing. And then, one afternoon, years later, I received an email. A literary opportunity. A real one. The kind of yes that makes every no before it finally makes sense. I remember sitting there, staring at the screen, and the first person I thought of wasn't a mentor, an editor, or an audience. It was her. The woman in the gray cardigan. The chipped blue mug. The sentence that started everything. I tracked down her contact information through the school. My hands were actually shaking when I wrote the message. I told her about the scholarship rejection, the folded piece of paper, the list of names, the quiet decision in that hallway to keep going. And I told her this. You didn't just believe in a writer that day. You believed in a version of me I hadn't met yet. And because you believed her into existence, I became her. She wrote back one line. I know. I could see her before you could. That's what believing in someone means. I read that sentence more times than I can count. So here's what I want you to do right now. Think of the person who believed in you before you believed in yourself. A teacher. A parent. A friend. A stranger who said one sentence at exactly the right moment. Comment their name below. Let's fill this comment section with the people who quietly changed our lives. If this story meant something to you, subscribe because there are more stories like this coming, stories about the quiet moments that shape who we become. And share this with the person who believed in you. Not someday. Today. Because somewhere out there, they might be standing in their own hallway, wondering if it ever mattered. Tell them it did. Because that's the truth about belief, isn't it? It's not about seeing who someone is right now. It's about seeing who they're capable of becoming long before the evidence catches up. We spend so much of our lives waiting for proof before we let ourselves believe in something. Proof that we're talented. Proof that we're capable. Proof that we're worth the risk. But some of the most important people in our lives never waited for proof. They looked at us unfinished, uncertain, and proven and decided to believe anyway. And that belief becomes a kind of quiet gravity. It pulls you forward on days when you have no pull left of your own. If you're lucky, you get one person like that in your life. If you're truly lucky, you remember to thank them before it's too late. I did. And I will never regret it.